Hi, Paul Sackis, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Jon Biondi. Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Okay, good. Yeah, actually an attorney, co-founder of music download website called Master Beat, and established Youth of Malawi. And there's a website, youthofmalawi.org. And first of all, where is Malawi?
Malawi is in East Africa. It's about a 4-hour plane ride from Johannesburg, South Africa. It's on the east, almost the coast. There's a country in the way, though. It's landlocked.
And tell us something about Malawi.
Sure. Well, today, especially on World AIDS Day, it's important to say that it's really the epicenter. All of sub-Saharan Africa really is the epicenter of the crisis. It's a country with 1.5 million orphans, largely because it has a very high rate of HIV infection. So a lot of these kids' parents have left us because of HIV. It's about 85,000 deaths a year from the disease, leaving about 1.5 million orphans, many of whom are HIV positive, some who have AIDS, but all who have suffered through the trauma of losing a parent. It's an extremely poor country. Besides the problems I already mentioned, these kids face violence against them, especially young girls, lack of clean water, malaria issues, and general malnutrition. So it's a dire place to be. Needs our help.
Okay, we agree wholeheartedly. Actually, we have done stories already previously on Malawi, on our Water Hour program, because in addition to the concerns about AIDS, there's the orphanages, right, that reality, and the ability not to have food, right?
Sure.
It's a real devastated community.
It is. And the children are especially hard hit. They're often raising each other, grandparents raising them, tons of orphans that, putting aside the ones that are institutionalized and have that kind of care, there's just, kids living in the streets taking care of each other, trying to get through life. It's very difficult and emotionally unimaginable to try to live through what you have to live through there without the guidance of a parent.
So what are some of the positive realities here? One is an organization like yours and the Youth of Malawi is helping, right?
Yeah, and there's plenty of others. Madonna has Raising Malawi, and there has been attention brought to the country by Western NGOs that are doing great things. There's an organization called Goods for Good, which takes excess goods from corporations in the United States and ships them there, shoes and pens, and so there's a lot being done, but there's so much more that needs to be done. And there's a tendency, I think, to when a country gets publicity, especially from a person like Madonna, there's a tendency for people to believe that it's sort of taken care of and that they don't need to do anything. But clearly anybody that visits there knows that it's an emergency and that any little thing we can all do is helpful.
Well, have you been there?
Yeah, we went in August. As I said, I'm a trust and estates lawyer, and I had a client who left money to one of these organizations, and I delivered the money and got to see what work that those funds had done, and was so moved that I couldn't imagine not coming back and doing something. So we're going back in April, and we're taking 300 of these orphans to the beach at Lake Malawi. Malawi has a very large lake in the middle of it, and most of these kids have never been to a beach. So we thought that to at least take them away from their troubles for one day, we could lift them up and have some fun with them.
So I see here that if someone sponsored a child for $39, that being the transportation, knapsack, sunglasses, a whole bunch of good things to take those kids to the lake.
And things that they can use going forward. We're going to try to give them some love and some support and some lessons about life through the beach, but we need help. All of us are volunteers. We're getting there on our own dime, and we need to figure out how to get beach towels and bathing suits and backpacks and pictures of them so that they have a beach experience that we're used to here in the States. So $39, it's not a bad Christmas present.
You bring boom boxes?
We are arranging music, actually.
So what got you interested and involved with this?
I think my visit there, I don't see how anybody travels to sub-Saharan Africa and doesn't come back sort of compelled to do something immediately, because it is so different than what the life that we're used to. It makes you come back and think that anything you possibly could complain about is really frivolous, given what little kids have to go through each day. So I think it's just a general sense of doing good and trying to give back in a way that I can. It's logistically difficult to do, but I think we're gonna succeed. And hopefully, if this project gains momentum and people are interested in it, already has created a little bit of a buzz. that we can maybe build a recreational center for these kids, or widen the diversity of the types of trips we could take, or increase the number of kids we can take, and hopefully form some connections between these orphans and some American children, and have the relationship continue so that their future needs can be met.
Now, this isn't new for you. You also do something out of Fire Island Dance Festival?
I bought a house about 6 years ago, and it came with a dance festival. In the backyard, Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, has a division called Dancers Responding to AIDS, and they build a stage in my backyard, which happens to be on the Great South Bay of Long Island, so it's a beautiful setting. They build a stage, and 13 or 14 dance troupes come, nationally known dance troupes come and perform. Whoopi Goldberg has been the host for a couple of years. We've had Bruce Valanche and Caroline Ray and Felicia Rashad. They get out there, they do their bit, and they raise about $300,000 or $400,000 in just 2 days for HIV, people living with HIV. So Broadway Cares does a tremendous job, and we do that every year in late July.
Who was the other founder in your organization here, Youth of Malawi?
His name's Ryan Kutu, and he's a paralegal in my firm who came on the trip to deliver the inheritance, and was also struck. He's also a volunteer and does this all. Does all the administrative part and helps me a lot coordinating all the things we need to coordinate to get there.
You know, one is, children that are already affected, but, future children in a country like that.
Yeah, it's true.
How do you see the, education going to, parents or not parents or just whoever's making love and passing on AIDS? What's happening in that regard?
Education, of course, is the key to not only preventing the disease. There's a tremendous stigma still around AIDS, so it's still difficult to talk about in these types of cultures. But certainly that would help. The problem in Malawi educationally is just simply access. There's few schools, they're badly attended, and the kids don't have the resources to succeed there, even if they could get there. It's often a long walk. They're often subject to violence on their way there. And sometimes when you're an orphan and you have to fetch water, you're not going to school that day. So there's so much to do. So many resources need to be poured in to get them to that first rung of the ladder where they can help themselves.
Okay, sounds like good news. So what's good news for you, John?
Oh, it's good news to me that people are really moved by the story and that they are willing to give $39 and help us take these orphans to the beach. I never expected the response that I've gotten through Facebook, and just from my inner circle, it's remarkable. Even in such tough economic times, Americans are really generous people and give of themselves even when they are struggling at home.
When do you plan to do the actual event?
April 24th and 25th, and all of us are booked and ready to go.
Okay. Congratulations. Thank you very much
Thanks
for doing
so much.
this. Help one kid one place, you help them everywhere in the world.
Right. Well, thanks,
John. Bye.